All right, old school NBA fans, self-researched NBA facts. Got another video for you. As always, thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate it. In this video here, I'm kind of doing an impromptu one of something that somebody said, and for some reason it just rubbed me the wrong way. Anyway, here's the clip right here, and this is what I'm going to talk about.
It's unfair to compare eras, but he's the best center I've ever seen. I mean, and again, I played against Kareem, so I'm kind of old, but not, I think maybe 1 year I played against him, but watched him obviously, and Kareem couldn't do all this stuff. And again, eras dictate a lot of that. So we're in the modern era, and we are watching a guy who is doing things that nobody's ever done before. Goes so far beyond the skill level, though, with Jokic. It's the demeanor, it's the competitiveness, it's the intelligence. He is absolutely one of the smartest players ever, and you see it in so many different ways.
Steve Kerr, him and I have definitely had differences of opinions. Like the whole political thing, I could care less. I don't get political very much. I think whatever side you're on, you're going to get burned eventually, but whatever, doesn't matter, irrelevant. In this particular clip, he said that Nikola Jokic is the best center he'd ever seen. It's his opinion. He's entitled to it, no problem. He said he's got the highest IQ. He did mention the era thing, which obviously is a very big deal. But he mentioned Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And I just think that was definitely the wrong guy. He said that, I think we played together for 1 year, like his rookie year was Kareem's last year. So you're comparing 42-year-old Kareem to prime Nikola Jokic. Is that the way I understood that? I think that's stupid and ridiculous, but fine, whatever. You're entitled to your own opinion. No problem. When people say this stuff, I just think that they look at Nikola Jokic as a good shooter and passer. That's what he does really well, right? He is, no doubt about it. I don't even think Nikola Jokic is a center. I think he's just a big wing player that on occasion will go into the post, but for the most part, he's a wing player. He's like a point forward. That's what he is. He gets all those assists. I mean, he's putting up Russell Westbrook kind of numbers. No center was going to do that unless they were playing on the perimeter a good amount of the time. It's just not possible. I don't think he's center, but just looking at other centers. Nikola Jokic's career highs, and I'm locking down this season of his numbers right now. I know he's got one more game to play, and it could change slightly. But his career numbers are points per game, 29.8. Rebounds per game, 13.8. Assists per game, 10.3. Steals per game, 1.8. And blocks per game, 0.9. So he's got some really good numbers in there. Now, why don't we look at another guy that he didn't mention, and this has never been confused with the best center of all time, nothing like that. But let's just take a look at David Robinson, for example. David Robinson's career high in points per game, 29.8, the exact same as Nikola Jokic, in a much tougher era, and I'm going to get to that in a minute, to score. Rebounds per game, he's at 13 even, but that led the league, and tough to get rebounds in that time as well. 4.8 assists, so obviously Jokic is way ahead of him, because again, he was playing in the perimeter. Robinson was primarily a post player, but he did shoot jump shots, whatever, but he was not going up at the top of the key and, at the sides or anything like that. No. This guy was in the paint. Steals per game, 2.3, and blocks, 4.5. Robinson is tied with Jokic in points. He trails Jokic, at least in career high, 8/10 of a rebound less than Jokic. He's 4.8 assists, and Jokic is at 10.3, so he's got 5.5 more. That's way ahead of him, no doubt about it. Robinson is half a steal ahead of Jokic, and that's pretty surprising considering Jokic didn't even have anywhere near that. Or maybe one other time he had like more than 1.3 or 1.4 until this last season. But Robinson, even playing in the paint, still had a half a steal more. but he had 5 times more blocks. Robinson's career high versus Jokic. That is stunning that a guy could have that much more blocks per game. Now, again, I understand that Robinson played around the rim. He was more athletic, all that, sure. So Jokic is better at these things. Robinson is better at these things. Right now, do I think Nikola Jokic is a better all-around player with a better resume than David Robinson? I don't. I think he's pretty close. He's moving in, closing in. We'll see what he does in the playoffs. But right now, I don't. I don't think he's a better overall career and player than David Robinson. David Robinson in his career has won basically anything you can win. He won Rookie of the Year. He won an MVP. He won Defensive Player of the Year. He led the league in scoring, led the league in rebounds, led the league in blocks. Okay? So that's a pretty impressive resume to, be good in all those things. Now, Jokic is really good, well-rounded in the assists, points, and rebounds. Sure. In 1993, David Robinson beat the 51-31 Portland Trailblazers. They were the defending West champs. The team that he had that did that, and you tell me if you think that Jokic's team, which people like Scap Attack and other people just crap on, they're a bunch of bums, the coach got fired, the general manager got fired, okay, whatever. Well, David Robinson had that season, 1992-93 season, this was his squad. Avery Johnson, Sean Elliott, Dale Ellis, who was 32 years old, Antoine Carr, J.R. Reed, Vinny Del Negro, and Lloyd Daniels. That's his squad. And they went out and they won 49 games that year and beat a team that won 51 games. David Robinson being, the guy or whatever, he didn't have anything, he didn't have another prolific scorer or, a second star on his team. But in 1990, he comes in with more or less the same players. He wins 56 games. In 91, he won 55 games. 93, 49 games. In 92, he was injured for the playoffs. 94, 55. 95, 62. Now, those 2 years, 94, 95, he did have Dennis Rodman on his team, but hardly an offensive star, but certainly enough to propel them to win 60 games. And then in 96, won 59 games. I don't think that Jokic's team is worse than what David Robinson had. And Jokic did win a championship, that's true, but he's never beat a 50-win team in the playoffs. Robinson didn't either. That's why I think they're kind of similar. He beat one, the 93 Trailblazers. That's it. That's his one. Until Duncan got there. Then obviously that was a whole nother level. And obviously you give somebody of a Tim Duncan type player or, at least that level of impact on Jokic's team, I would expect he would win 2 championships over a 6-year period. I'm sure he probably would. But I'm just saying they're very similar in that regard to me. I just think that right now Robinson just has a little more of a resume. In David Robinson's division in the early to mid-90s, this is what he was dealing with in his division for big men. Not in the whole NBA. In his division. He had Dikembe Mutombo, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Karl Malone in his division. That's what he had. And there were some other players in the NBA as a whole, legends, great Hall of Fame players like Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning, Shaq. That's the other center competition he was going up against. In Jokic's division in recent years, he has Rudy Gobert. If you think he's a great player, then hey, there you go. Karl Anthony Towns was the 7-footer in his division for years. Isaiah Hartenstein, and now I guess this Chet Holmgren guy, Walker Kessler, DeAndre Ayton, these are the big guys in his division. Now, if you think they're great, okay, good. I think they're not even in the same stratosphere as Karl Malone, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Dikembe Mutombo, but that's just me. The man that Kerr was talking about.
Now it'll be Gross coming to the basket, and Kareem came back inside. Walton screaming that it was goaltending. Kareem just hung back there like a cat. Here's the play.
Dawkins maneuvers on Kareem through. Is they going to come through in one way or the other? Here it comes.
Quick pass inside to takes it Kareem. Because what happened after the foul, they get a fresh 24 seconds on the clock. Now they can run. No, Kareem has stolen the ball. The big fella's taking it away. The Lakers can go for the tie. Here's Kareem. Oh, it's tied.
These Seattle guards will tell you that it's the big men that really get the job done.
Steal by Sigma. Up high, short. Kareem rebound. 87 at 47 seconds as that field goal just might be the killer as Kareem blocks. It's 6-4 Lakers. DJ all the way. A lady over there that he came down on.
He made a great effort here, Brent. He saves that ball. You watch 21 Cooper after the
Great
shot is
block
blocked
by
by
Kareem.
Right? Now watch Coop. When you save the...
Now here's the guard. Puts it down on Kareem, and Kareem will go back to the middle. John comes on a runner and sends it to Gus. Gus inside. On a hanger. Dennis 5 on the shot clock. And
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm just going to look at this right here. This is what Kareem had to deal with in the 70s. This is just centers who won MVPs in the 70s. Just that. Take a look. Willis Reed, 1970. Dave Cowens, 1973. Bob McAdoo, 1975. Bill Walton, 1978. Moses Malone, 1979. Other notable Hall of Fame centers in the 70s, just the 70s. Dan Eisel, Artis Gilmore, Wilt Chamberlain, Wes Unseld, Jack Sikma. At different times, he was dealing with all those guys. So I just find it hilarious that Jokic is killing a league with not really any good centers. Who are the best? Joel Embiid and Rudy Gobert. That's who's winning the other MVP in the last 5 years or whatever. And the Defensive Players of the Year. That's who was winning them. Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean, sure, Giannis, absolutely. He's considered a power forward, but still a big man. Okay, yeah, Giannis, absolutely. Embiid when he's actually on the court. Who else is there? What other competition is there? He's not night in, night out. And even if it wasn't Mutombo, Shaq, or Olajuwon, you still had to deal with like Rick Smits, Mark Eaton. I mean, it wasn't easy. You know what I mean? Like every night there was at least a serviceable big man in there. That's why I just scoff at this stuff, this idiotic stuff that even Steve Kerr is playing. Everybody's such a prisoner of the moment. The recency bias is hilarious to me. In Kareem's career, since he says he's better. So it's just an opinion-based thing. Steve Kerr is going off opinion. He has no concrete proof, right? Well, in Kareem's career, his career high, 34.8 points per game. Obviously, that won a scoring title. 34.8. Pretty high. His career high is 16.9 rebounds per game. He won 2 scoring titles, 1 rebound title. His career high in assists at 5.4. His career high in steals is 1.7. And his career high in blocks is 4.1. And he's got 4 block titles. So he's got about 5 points better than Jokic. He's about 3.1 rebounds better than Jokic. He is 4.9 assists less than Jokic. He's a tenth of a steal less than Jokic's best. But he's 3.2 more blocks per game better than Jokic, which is more than 4 times as many as Jokic was getting. So obviously these guys were better at different things, played the position differently. So it's really an asinine thing to say by Kerr. It just is. Oh, for good measure, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was a 5-time first-team all-defensive player and 6-time second-team all-defensive player. Still waiting on Jokic to get even one second-teamer. One side of the ball, he might have been equally as effective as Kareem, or close to it, but not on defense, he's not. And look, Kareem had his problems too when he didn't have Oscar Robertson, Bob Dandridge in the Milwaukee from 70 to 74, and then having Magic and Worthy and McAdoo and Wilkes and all those guys in the 80s. Sure, he had a stretch of about 5 years where he didn't do as well, but he was still, making the playoffs, getting the number 1 seed, all that kind of thing, which Jokic did too. The difference is Jokic had one of the easiest runs ever to win a championship. I mean, it was cake. Now, granted, Kareem had an easy one too in 1971. It was quite easy. But I'm just saying there's a lot of similarities as far as that goes. Neither one of these guys were taking their roster not full of all-stars and Hall of Famers and taking them to the promised land, other than Jokic's one really easy run that he had in, 2023. David Robinson, because I think he's similar to Jokic in a lot of respects. And obviously Kareem, because that's who Kerr mentioned. But do you really think, with a straight face, all things considered, total overall game, overall resume, do you think Nikola Jokic is better than this? Nah, I didn't think so. Olajuwon is better than Nikola Jokic. Offensively, like I said, Nikola Jokic is a better outside shooter, and he's definitely a better and more willing passer than probably these other centers are. Absolutely. Of course, it's easier to pass now because of the spacing and everything. It is. Different era, all that kind of stuff. But you're going to tell me that Akeem Olajuwon, if he were to guard Nikola Jokic, you don't think that he would contain Jokic? I guarantee he would. He contained David Robinson. He contained Shaq. He contained Patrick Ewing. Actually embarrassed Ewing. I know he would. Jokic still did have a good game, and he definitely would take Olajuwon outside. But he was pretty nimble and athletic, too. The key to Jokic is, and I don't even watch him out at NBA, just off the clips that I see, he's definitely a really good shooter. He's worked on his outside shooting. You can tell. No doubt about it. A really good passer that has open guys all over the place. But when he chooses to go down low, there's just not a lot of big guys anymore that can stop him. I see him posting up, shooting layups and stuff. He does it as if there is no defender there. Like, he doesn't even react to what the defender's doing. He just goes right through him, right over him, almost like Shaq used to do without the ferocious dunking. I'm serious. He just goes right over him. Like, I've never seen anything like it. Like, yeah, he doesn't have to worry because he's bigger than basically everybody, except for like Joel Embiid and, maybe Giannis, a couple guys that are in the neighborhood of his size. But most of the guys, he just goes right through them like they're not even there. It's crazy. Even Anthony Davis. Now, Davis is a really good defender. Why did he have problems with Jokic? Because Jokic just threw his weight around him. Absolutely. What would Anthony Davis have done against Shaq? Exactly, same thing. He would have got dunked on repeatedly, like Mutombo. You don't think Mutombo was a great defender? He got destroyed by Shaq in the finals. And no, I'm not saying that Jokic was, had as much weight, as much power as Shaq. No. But it's the general principle of Shaq didn't react to defenders. He just went right through him and dunked on him. Well, Jokic doesn't necessarily dunk on him, but he'll, make layups, whatever, in the post. I'm going to end with this. 2024 top 5 for MVP, the last one that Jokic won. The top 5 was Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic, Giannis, and Jalen Brunson. That's your 5. In 2022, the last MVP before that, the Jokic one, it was Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, Devin Booker, and Luka Doncic. That's your 5. In 2021, Jokic's first MVP, it was Jokic, Embiid, Curry, Giannis, and Chris Paul. Okay, hey, most of those guys, almost all of them, really good players, no doubt about it. Hall of Famers, top 75 or will be top 100 players, no doubt. 1995, David Robinson's only MVP. Now, this is without Michael Jordan in the league. Remember that. David Robinson, number 1. Shaq, number 2. Karl Malone, number 3. Patrick Ewing, number 4. and Hakeem Olajuwon number 5. Now for me, I'm taking that group over the new guys. That's just me though. But all these guys are big guys. 4 centers and 1 power forward. Just goes to show you where the strength of the league was during the mid-90s. The next season in 96, David Robinson was runner-up to the MVP. Well, now Jordan is back. So Jordan number 1 and Robinson was number 2. Did you know that on a 60-win team, Shaquille O'Neal finished tied for 9th in MVP? That's how stacked the league was with star power. Shaq is on a 60-win team and finishes tied for 9th. Now, I understand he had some injuries, and Penny Hardaway finished 3rd for MVP because the guy was, 18-4 with Shaq not there? I mean, that's insane. But I'm just saying, that just goes to show you the power of the league at that time. And I just think the players were better then, period. Better all-around players then versus now. Right now, the players are shooters and they're passers. But again, even Jokic, he carries, he double dribbles. He does the moving screen thing. They all do. They all cheat. And why wouldn't you take advantage of what the league's allowing you to do? I'm saying, I'm not even going to be one of the people that says, oh, if Jokic was back in the 90s, which, yeah, he would not be doing what he's doing now. I think that Jokic, realistically, would be a better passing version of Dirk Nowitzki had he played, like, say, in the 2000s. He would be about as good as Dirk, but a better passer, so he would be a little better than Dirk Nowitzki. That's what I think, if he would have played in the 2000s. And that's not even the cream of the crop big men. Sure, that's Ben Wallace, that's Dwight Howard. Sure, Duncan's still around. Still some really good big men, no doubt about it. But it ain't the 90s. You know what I'm saying? It ain't the 80s and it ain't the 70s. So I just think that people like Steve Kerr, they just blow up Jokic too much. And I'm okay with you blowing him up in this era. Man, he's just so much better than anybody else. Nobody can stop Jokic. He's dominating. On board with that all day long. But where people like Steve Kerr, Scap Attack, where you guys lose me is when you start bringing in people from other eras. That's where you lose me. Because I'm like, dude, you don't know that. And Jokic's defense is not really that good. Okay? He's a one-way player, a great one-way player who plays in an era where hand checking is not allowed, where you can carry the basketball, you can double dribble, you can. There's no defensive 3 seconds, so it's not like Jokic has to worry about, Dikembe Mutombo under the basket to deal with. He doesn't. He knows Mutombo's going to have to come out of the paint, and then he just goes right in. I just think this Jokic thing is getting out of hand. If you contain it to this era, I'm on board with anything you want to say about Jokic, about how good he is, how fantastic he is. He's MVP worthy. Absolutely, I am on board all day with that stuff. But when you start bringing in people from other eras is where you're going to lose me, because Jokic is not a proven two-way player, and he hasn't had to go up against a bunch of legendary bigs. So you don't know what he would do. No one knows for sure how good Nikola Jokic would be against these players in the past eras. You just don't know. So anyway, that's all I got for this video. Sorry I rambled a little bit there. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you wouldn't mind sharing the video, that would be great. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. I've been giving daily content. And that's it. Until next time.